Welcome. Thank you so much for coming out this morning. We really appreciate it. We have a very special couple of guests. Again, my name is Mr. Croson. I'm the principal here. I want to thank Herf Jones, Varsity Brand, BSN. Thank you so much for being here to help this event take place. I want to thank Southern Oregon Audio and Ciro. Thank you so much for the stage and the audio equipment for today. The district office, Mr. Valenzuela, Ms. Durant, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Let's give them a huge round of applause. At this time, I would like to introduce a very special individual. Her name is Julie Jackson. Some of you have seen her in the video that was sent to you during our Mustang time. Julie is the founder of the Go Be Great Foundation, which Hidden Valley High School has got an amazing partnership with. Julie flew here to be here today with us from Dallas, Texas, so she could introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Kevin Atlas. So at this time, please give a huge round of applause to Ms. Julie Jackson.
What a gorgeous day. Thank you all so much for inviting us here. Thank you, Mr. Croson, for all that you're doing for you. And just on behalf of the Go Be Great Foundation, 3 little words, right? Go be great. That's all they are. But with a great, powerful meaning to your life, knowing that each and every one of you is created for greatness. And using your unique gifts, talents, divine greatness to positively impact the lives of others is what we're here today to do. And so on behalf of the Go Be Great Foundation, I'm honored to be here. On behalf of the Go Be Great Foundation, we're so grateful for you and the heart that you are pouring into your staff and students and community, that we know that impact's immeasurable, but we just want to thank you so much, Mr. Croson, for all that you're doing. When he asked me, he said, Julie, we've been talking for a few months about you all and how to give you the very best experience. When he said, Julie, we need to bring in a great speaker. We need to kick this off. We need to give these kids an experience that's unforgettable. I thought of one thing. I thought of Kevin Atlas and bringing Kevin in on behalf of the other company that I work for, Varsity Brands, in which our mission is to elevate the student experience through sport, through spirit, through achievement, through everything you're doing here every single day. We have partnered with Kevin Atlas because his mission aligns with ours. His mission also aligns with Go Be Great. It's incredible. So when Mr. Croson asked, we've got to find the right speaker, there was no question in who that was. And feel so grateful that we've been given the opportunity through all of the challenges and the shutdowns and the prohibitive things that have been put in place, that we were able to come here today and introduce into you Kevin Atlas and the Believe in You tour. So I hope that you have an open heart today, open ears. I hope you take away something very powerful to impact the lives of others today. With all that, I'll introduce Kevin Atlas.
Appreciate you. You guys hear me? Good? What's up? Look at all these beautiful faces. This is going to be a little bit of a weird day for you guys. I'm not a typical speaker that you guys might have had in the past, unless you like giant one-arm guys. Maybe you're into that kind of thing. I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think there's a bunch of fake people in the world, and I just choose to be real. So this is going to be an interesting hour. Worst case, you guys get out of class. Things I do for you. You're welcome. Best case, you guys learned something from this. I was the first D1 pro basketball player to play with a disability. Turned down a job from the Harlem Globetrotters after playing out in Asia because I wanted to help people. And I created a company. I became very successful, and now I've traveled the world. I'm 31. I've been to 49 U.S. states and every continent but Antarctica, which is pretty sick. I've met millions of people from all different walks of life. I've spoken at Facebook, Google, United Nations. I'm the face of a $4 billion company. We're not charging you guys at all for me to be here. I'm here because I genuinely care about you guys. And ultimately what this is for me is if you guys could speak to yourself like for an hour, maybe like your, I don't know, 6th grade self for an hour, what would you say and why? I want to give you guys the answer keys because I've had tremendous mentors in my life, coaches, teachers, a couple of crazy businessmen who have really just impacted me. So my intentions are for you guys to leave here with the blueprints to be like tremendously successful, but really want to make you guys into great leaders because I think the world needs that. But most importantly, I want you to be happy because you guys deserve to be happy daily. And I didn't like high school. High school to me was a 4-year prison sentence. Shouldn't feel that way to you guys. Last year sucked. COVID sucks. The masks suck. It's tough. But I've created a mentality of focusing on what's in my control, not what's out of my control. And I learned quite a bit, and I'm like freaking like so stoked about life every day when I wake up. It's like just gratitude. Like I'm killing it. I've won the Matrix, and I want to give you guys that life hack. That's it for an hour. I'll meet with Link later and student council after that. We're going to change your school into a place that you guys kind of want to be, but individually, I want to give you kind of those blueprints to anything you want in life. So that's what I'm here for. You guys cool with that? But before I get, yeah, just one teacher doing it. Beautiful. Love you. One thumbs up. That's all I can do too. Yeah. Before I get started, there's 2 elephants in the room I have to address, so you won't listen to anything else I say out of experience. So we're just going to go ahead and hit these, check them off, and we're going to get into this. How many of you guys wondering how tall I am? Yeah. A lot of hands. That's weird fantasy for this guy. I'm 6'11", which is disgusting. I'm a freak of nature. So most people don't know that after 6'9", you're legally a giant, meaning you have to like duck for doors. I average about 150 airplanes a year, which is nuts, even through COVID. And I don't know why people freaking do this. They see how ridiculously tall I am, and still they choose to like recline their seats and like crush my kneecaps with little stupid heads in front of me. And I just kind of blow on their hair so they'll stop. And if that doesn't work, like if they're bald or something, I just wiggle this in their face, creeps them out. 100% success rate. Really trips people out. It's classic. Which brings me to the second thing we got to talk about, is this little guy. You guys like that, don't you? You sickos. It's like a bad action figure. It has 2 movements. It goes like this. It goes like this. That's all you get for free. Pretty classic. So I'm from Cali, and I didn't come from like a wealthy family by any means, but I got to take my first vacation when I was in 2nd grade, and I was stoked. We went to Hawaii, and we went out to Maui, and my older brother was teaching me how to boogie board, and I wasn't that far in the water. I was about 6. So these surfers in the distance, there were 4 of them, and they were screaming and waving at us. And we thought it was because like surfers hate boogie boarders, or they were trying to catch a wave, and unfortunately they were trying to warn us something was in the water. And my brother got pulled into the water, and unfortunately I got pulled into the water, and I felt this click. Came out, my arm wasn't there anymore, and at first I was in so much shock, I didn't feel any pain at all. Me and my brother just looked at this thing like, what the heck is this? And then all the pain set in at once. I passed out from blood loss and woke up at the hospital with bandages around my arm. And my parents were crying and praying over me, and the doctors walked in with some x-rays. And he said, really sorry to tell you this, but judging by the bite marks on your arm, it was about a 6.5 foot long bull shark that bit your arm off. And there's no way to recover it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm completely messing with you. That didn't happen at all. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Kind of a dick move on my end, but you guys try to talk to a bunch of high schoolers who don't want to be there on a Wednesday morning. That's why I can't speak to middle schools anymore. They don't let me. Classic. Made too many little kids cry. What really happened in California, they make everybody get 3 COVID shots, and the thing just fell right off. It was, sorry, that's too soon. Classic. Well, thanks for having me. No, what really happened was pretty wild, but before I tell you, I want you guys to take this away, and this is a magical world that'll change your life forever. It's empathy, being able to put yourself in other people's shoes and feeling what they feel, even just to a minor extent. You have to realize that, and I want you guys to practice this, like consciously practice empathy, because it'll literally change your life and everybody around you's life. Leaders, success, happiness, my number 1 variable is being empathetical. So put yourself in my shoes. I never had this arm. When I was born ironically on Friday the 13th and Good Friday. I was supposed to be left-handed too. God's got jokes. Thanks, buddy. And what happened is my umbilical cord got wrapped around my neck twice, and my arm got caught in between the umbilical cord and my neck, and it took my arm off, but saved my neck, saved my life, which I think is a blessing in disguise, left hand for the neck. But when I was born, I wasn't breathing. Doctors had to revive me a couple times. They didn't know if I was going to survive or be mentally there. My friends still wonder if I am, but they saved me. And my parents, man, they were awesome. They were just great human beings, but they couldn't get along. So this might not be your home circumstance, and for the context of this presentation, I'm giving you a little bit of background to who I am. A lot of you guys might be able to relate. If you can't, realize the people sitting next to you might. That's empathy. So I had awesome parents. When I was 4, they came up to me. My dad's like, Kevin, guess what, man? You get 2 Christmases now. It's like, this is the best day of my life. 2 Christmases, and then they got divorced. Really horrible way to tell a kid. Pretty dark. And the problem was we were like the poor people in a rich community, so my parents each worked 2 jobs. And so they commuted to work at 5 a.m., picked me and my siblings up at 7 p.m. So I had great parents, never saw them. I didn't have a home structure. I just was put in those circumstances. I was born with all this. I didn't choose it. So I fell so far behind academically because no one really cared to help me with that. I couldn't even read till 3rd grade. I don't know if you guys still play that game Popcorn, that stupid game you call on each other to read. We played in 2nd grade. Someone called on me to read the book. I couldn't read, and I was stuttering, and everyone laughed at me because I was the only kid in class who couldn't read. And so I got really embarrassed, and I threw the book across the room like a champion. And then I straight up walked out of class, hopped the fence, and walked home, which is a pretty boss move for a 2nd grader. Problem was that they thought I got kidnapped, and the principal had to call the police department. Like, there's a one-armed kid on the loose. You got to find him. I was at home chilling watching Pokemon. They were bugging out. But I was bad, man. Teachers here, I credit you guys as that village that raised me. I was diagnosed with ADHD, dyslexia. I had a speech deficiency. I couldn't say L's or R's till middle school. I mean, this didn't help. Slow typer, man, I'll tell you. It's only good for the space bar. That's weird and dark, sorry. Beyond that, man, I was in counseling. I was in anger management. They put me in special needs for a minute because they didn't know what to do with me, which I loved. Every teacher wanted to hold me back for my own good. My dad wouldn't let him. 7-foot tall, 300-pound dude. You're calling my son stupid? They're like, no, let him go. I don't care at all. But I was the worst, stupidest kid. Physically, I mean, you're working on empathy once again, and there's context to the presentation, so just hold in. There's a point to this. Physically, I didn't choose this. Come on, man. I was 5'10" in 5th grade. I had shaggy red hair as a kid, too. I looked like Ronald McDonald. One arm flapping around. We do songs in class, everyone's doing the YMCA, and I'm the only one not doing it. And the teacher's like, Kev, why aren't you doing the YMCA? I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Seriously? Does this look like a freaking M to you, man? Come on. Does this look like an A? You do the hokey pokey next. Put your left hand in, If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. It's messed up. Pretty hard times, man. You, what's your name? Bailey. That's a beautiful name, Bailey. Bailey, I got a question for you. Want to play patty cake? I'll play with her. I don't want to play patty cake. Never won a game of Twister, I'll tell you that. Left hand anything. Classic. Physically, again, we're working on empathy here because it kind of sucked. And to make matters worse, I mean, these are the roots I'm from, all out of my control. My dad sat me and my brother and sister down one morning. I was in 3rd grade. It was at 5 a.m., and he explained to us, before he dropped us off at daycare so he could go to work, he explained to us he was diagnosed with cancer. Didn't know how much longer he's going to live. And my older siblings ran out of the room bawling, crying. I just sat there and stared at him. I had no idea what cancer was. I was pretty slow anyway, but I realized he was sick, and how I perceived it as a 3rd grader, I thought your house was a magical place that healed you. You stay home sick from school, you get better. So I thought if I raised money for him, you wouldn't have to work so much. You could come home to your magical house that heals you, and he would get better. So I started to save every penny in the planet for him. Everybody knew that about me. I was a money fiend. No one really knew why. Empathy. What do I mean by that? I got caught selling candy at school. I was flipping candy at school. I got in trouble. I thought I was going to be a freaking drug dealer. Going down the wrong path, son. It's crazy. Man, I saved my lunch money. I was a kid's bodyguard. He split his lunch with me, so I could... My first job was a bodyguard in the 4th grade, which was pretty dope. I did car washes, lemonade stands. If I was at a grocery store, there was a quarter on the ground, it was mine. You could be an old lady going for that quarter. I was diving for it. I'd straight pummel you. I had no chill. And I saved up all this money. It was like $240+ with $1 bills, Magic Mike money. It was crazy. I had rubber bands around it. And I hid it in my room so my siblings wouldn't find it and steal it from me. My dad found it one day. He was so ticked off because he thought I stole it. He's like, Kevin, get up here. And I was like, man, what do I do now? And he looked down at me. He said, where'd you get this? And I looked up at him and I said, I was saving it for you so you could come home, rest, and get better. And my dad just started bawling, crying. And I've never seen him cry in my life. He's Superman. He's a freaking tank. He's invincible. And he starts bawling like a big baby because he realized his 4th grade son was saving his lunch money to try to save him from cancer. and it hit him like a truck. He didn't say a word to me, just started crying, got my money, put it in his pocket, and walked out of the room. I was like, bro, that's my money, man. You have no idea what I did for that. I tried to start kicking him in the shin and stuff, but this is the craziest thing. He realized he had to try to fight cancer. He quit both his jobs within a month time. He quit both his jobs. He came, I thought I succeeded as a little kid. I thought $240 was enough to raise 3 kids on. I don't know, but I never had to go to daycare again. Pick me up, drop me off from school, made my lunches, camping, hiking, fishing, whatever we could afford. I got to know him. I thought I saved him. Unfortunately, when I was 10 in 5th grade, he didn't beat his fight with cancer. As a 10-year-old kid, I held his hand as he took his last breath and passed away, and I went back to school. Worst part about it, I blamed myself. I didn't raise the money fast enough. I couldn't save him. And I put this mask on on the outside because I didn't want people to freaking pity me more than they already did. My life sucked. That's what I'm from. And I realize now I'm not the only one. The suicides, anxiety, depression rates have skyrocketed across the country pre-COVID, and it's pretty hard. And I think there's a difference between the American youth and everywhere else in the world. You guys are more significant and matter more than you think. And I'm light at the end of the tunnel for a lot of you. For those of you who don't have these circumstances at home, man, you're very blessed, but to be a leader, you got to understand kids next to you might be feeling this way. I'm not this little 10-year-old kid anymore. Man, I'm 31. I've traveled the world. I've done pretty much everything I wanted to do. I had an honor for my dad. I made a book of life instead of a bucket list. I crossed 2 things out. I went skydiving on my 18th birthday. Backpacked Europe, scuba dived the Great Barrier Reef, got the shark back that got me. Just kidding. I've been a board member for Special Olympics, spokesperson for Boys and Girls Club of America. I'm not trying to be boastful. I have literally accomplished all my goals and dreams in basketball and opened up a door for other people with disabilities to play a 2-handed sport. That's sick. I'm like proud of that. I'm proud that this month and next month I'm shopping a show with Mark Wahlberg that we created a pilot for around Hollywood that's going to inspire, make a massive impact. All I want out of life is for the days not to blend together and to spread empathy and love and kindness and make that the new norm because it represents the best of humanity. When I die, this world will be a better place for me being in it. And that's non-discoverable. That's happening. So that's what I live for. That's who I am. That's my creed. And guess what? When I was 23, when my mom got super ill and couldn't afford her medication, who paid for it? And then I bought her a house, paid it off, and said, live in it until you die. I didn't come from 2 pennies. And all I want out of a lot of you with my time today is to give you all the success I have, all the happiness I have, all the leadership I have, give you real purpose, wake you up, because I'm probably pretty sure here that most of you guys are just floating through life. And if you don't respect and control time, it won't respect you. So I'm giving you the blueprints, and we've already gone over this. I'm not that intelligent. But guess what? I got my first A in 8th grade. I graduated military school first in class. I graduated college on a D1 athletic scholarship in 3 years, taking 40 college. That's dope. I'm going to give you all of this because somebody did it for me. And my hopes are that you take it and apply it, and you're not just motivated for a day or a week or a month, because honestly, then you're wasting my time and I'm wasting yours. This day is going to be real. I'm here for you out of straight love. That's all this is. If you guys want to be happier, if you want to be really successful in anything that you do, and if you guys want to be real leaders, I'm not here selling you anything. I'm here giving you something. And it's a gift. It's the same gift these teachers and coaches gave me. And so it's the best thing I can help them is to translate it to you. So raise your hand if you're cool with that for like 40 minutes if we do that. Then we're going to hang out at lunch. If you guys want to talk one-on-one, if you want to DM me, if you want to hug me or, touch this thing, I don't know what you're into. I'm here for you guys. You got me today. Cool? Good? Let's do it, baby. So this is how it started. I'm going to change your perspective, and you need to hear this because this is exactly how it happened for me. My life didn't start till I was going into 8th grade. My life didn't really start because I was a product of shitty circumstances. Facts. 100%. But my mentality shifted, my perspective shifted, and that's what gift I'm going to give to you guys today. So when I went into middle school, my middle school, it was literally called Pleasanton Middle School. It was called PMS. Solid name for it. Our school colors are red, too. They didn't think that through. And we were the Panthers, so I'll let you put those dots together there. But I went into PMS, and as a 7th grader, I was 6'4", which is disgusting and just fun. And my buddy's like, you can't be this big and not play basketball. This isn't about basketball. This isn't about me. But there's a huge lesson here that's going to change your life. Guaranteed. Going to wake you up. This is where my life triggered and started. So I tried out for the basketball team with him. And after the tryouts, the coach pulled me aside. And he explained to me that basketball is a 2-arm sport and to try something else. I was like, you're a jerk, man. Didn't want to play for PMS anyway, bro. But this is where, one of those things where God closes a door opens a window. There was this coach. He was a coach and a teacher in a neighboring town. He ran what's called an AAU program, an off-season club travel team. He had all the MVPs, the seniors from the San Francisco area. They were nationally ranked. Most of them had already signed D1 schools. And he heard about a 7th grade one-armed kid who couldn't even make a 7th grade team, and whatever was in his heart, he went out of his way, and he got a hold of us somehow, and he had me come try out. And guess what? I show up for tryouts. I never played basketball. Guess what? These guys had a dunk competition on me. Ooh, dunk on the one-arm guy, real mature. Friggin' jerks. But guess what? Coach stopped practice, and he walked up to me, and he's like, Kevin, when you play ball, why don't you use that arm? And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, that arm, why don't you use it when you play? I was like, chill, coach. I don't have an arm, right? That's the whole thing. He's like, no, man, that thing's a weapon. This thing, guys, I call it my nub. Everybody wave to the nub. Yeah. Told you today was going to be weird. Welcome to high school, freshmen. So this thing is like super awesome. It's like really powerful. Actually, I need a volunteer. Do you have any football players up front? This guy, come up here, man. Give him a round of applause. What's your name, dude? Nate? You look like a Nate. Aw, cute little fella. Little Nate over here. What grade you in, buddy?
I'm a senior.
Senior. Love it. So this thing, you guys understand it, where your guys' bone separates in the forearm, reconnects at the wrist. Mine were like, nah, not going to do that. So these are 2 bones. They're like little daggers. You get nervous, Nate? A little bit. You ever been nubbed before?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I love it, man. I'm going to give you a little nub. I won't do it too hard, okay? How'd that feel?
It was interesting.
You liked it.
I could,
Hurts a little bit, huh?
yeah, it's pretty good.
I want you to pull my arm down.
Like hard.
Go for it. All the way. Use both those hands, bro. You got all those hands. What position you play?
Quarterback.
You're a quarterback? Oh, that makes sense. Get on that nub muscle, baby. Let's go. You know what else? Super fast, too. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Thank you. That's all I needed you for, Nate. Thank you, buddy. You've been nubbed. Thank you. Thank you. He'll never be the same. Give it up for Nate, everybody. Pretty strong, huh? Pretty weird. Well, guess what? This coach ultimately did is he made me the world's dirtiest basketball player. There's nothing in the rule book against nubbing people. So I'd like post up on the block, call for the ball, and I'd just shank other guys on the side. Refs can't see it. Super little ninja nub, man. Other guy gets stabbed by this thing all game, gets pissed off. It hurts, man. Tries to fight me. The ref's like, why are you trying to fight the one-arm guy? What's wrong with you? Power of the nub. And next possession, this is what happened, I swear, man. Marquise, he's from Antioch. He's one of the best players on the team. Very next possession, this coach, he teaches me about the nub, and this guy tries to dunk on me. What do? Whoop, right in the crotch. Marquise is on the ground crying. And you know what he said that'll always stick for me for the rest of my life? He said, Coach, it's not fair. And he wasn't saying it wasn't fair for me that I had to like live life and play basketball with one arm. It was unfair for him that I was playing basketball with one arm. That's nuts. Now think about that. I walked in the gym with everything I needed to be successful. You know the difference between me and you? I was born with this and you weren't. And I freaking hated it. You want to work on empathy? Come on, man. My life sucked. This is everything I hated about my crappy life. I mean, we have ADD, we have dyslexia, we can hide some stuff. I couldn't hide this, I tried. Girls were ruthless. I had no self-confidence with them. This is the cootie magnet. Dude, guys weren't any better. People are mean and judgmental of what's different. And this was very different. I hated looking in mirrors. I hated going in grocery stores. Mom, why has he got one arm? The mom gets all weird, doesn't know what to say. Everyone pretends like they're not looking. I hated this arm. And you know what this coach couldn't do? Couldn't grow it out. He couldn't fix it. He changed my perspective on it through basketball. He allowed me to accept it and embrace it and love it. And if you can't do that, I promise you on my life, you will never fully be happy. Because if you can't love you, then how the hell is anyone in the world supposed to be able to love you? You know, the person you spend most time with in life is yourself. And if you're mean to yourself in your head and you put yourself down all the time, you're probably not going to be that happy of a person. And then what are you going to do? You're going to project negative energy, and people are going to feel those vibrations. And guess what you're going to get in return? You're going to get negative energy, and people are going to be mean to you, and you're going to be in this cycle of misery. Or, and hear me out, this is what this coach did for me. Couldn't grow out my arm, couldn't change how I was, but he allowed me to embrace it and love it. And now I flop it around, and I make jokes about it. If I walked up here and put my arm in my pocket and said, I swear I'm a 2-arm man, because I'm so sensitive about it, that would be creepy and weird. I flop this thing around. I freaking love this thing. Nate loves it too, don't you, buddy? If you can't love you, how the heck is anyone supposed to love you? If you give me a left arm today, I wouldn't take it, and I pray every one of yourself, you look in the mirror and love yourself right back, because you're beautiful, because there's 7.5 billion people in this world, and there's one of you, so you're a piece of art. You're a Picasso. And you should never have to apologize for that. So I figured 2 ways. Michael Phelps taught me one way, and I figured out another way. 2 ways that you can consciously work on this, and your life will change, and the people around you will be much happier, and you'll attract even more people in your life. Because you can't be a leader if you can't accept yourself. Who the heck's supposed to follow you? How are you supposed to be successful in sports? Hey, Nate, I bet you have a little bit of confidence as a QB. If you were super timid every time you threw the football, you probably wouldn't be a QB very long, would you? No. Confidence. If you can't love you and you can't embrace you, you can't have that. You'll never fully be successful. You want to be happy every day? First thing Michael Phelps taught me, he does this. He suffers with depression somehow. Every time he walks through a doorway, he gives himself a mental compliment. It's called an affirmation. You brush your teeth twice a day, vocally say something in the mirror. You did awesome today. You're great. Your freaking hair looks, whatever it is. Give yourself 2 compliments a day every time you brush your teeth. Make it a habit out of that. You'll start believing it subconsciously. A little voice in your head will become a lot nicer. And your life will start to change, and that of those around you. That's crazy. Could you do that? Because being miserable is a choice. Being miserable is a choice. Being unhappy is a choice, and I didn't know that for a long time. You guys want to be successful in here? Raise your hand. I'm going to teach you how. This is very simple. This is what the same coach did to me. So again, I didn't make my 7th grade team. By my senior year of high school, Nate, by my senior year of high school, I was recruited. I had full rides to Pepperdine, St. Mary's, San Francisco, walk-ons to Notre Dame, walk-on to UNC. I was top 50 players in Northern California. I was featured in the Super Bowl edition of Sports Illustrated. I was in the New York Times. They made a documentary on my life story. They started filming me. I didn't know it was going to take 7 years, and I didn't know they were going to film me in the shower, which is awkward and probably illegal. I was mic'd up all the time. Felt like I was a Kardashian. It was wild. But I didn't just become successful overnight because I'm not that talented and I'm not that smart. So how did I become this? How did I become successful academically, socially, as a leader, business-wise? It's the same thing. It's so easy. It's stupid. My coach came up to me, Patrick McKnight. This guy is he looks like Biggie Smalls. And he's like, I'm your papa now because you don't have one. He was a very interesting dude. And he came up to me and he's like, Kevin, I know you want to be a basketball player when you grow up. I know you want to go D1. I know you want to play pro. It's never going to happen. Same guy taught me about the nub. I was like, come on, I'm going to nub you, man. This kind of bring a guy down. And he's like, you know why? Because I talk to your mom and I know what you do when you go home from school. When you go home from school, you eat a snack and watch Netflix. Ooh, I'm a horrible person. And then you come to practice and work hard like everybody else in the country isn't coming to practice and working hard. And then you go home, eat dinner, shower, procrastinating homework. Most days you don't do it because you're on YouTube or you're on your Xbox. And then you wake up the next day, do the same damn thing. Your routine sucks, your habit sucks. Legends are made behind closed doors. He told me that 0.03%, 3 out of every 10,000 college basketball or high school basketball players get a D1 scholarship. 3 out of every 10,000, and no one has ever done that with the disability. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, you don't have what it takes. You're not going to be the first. Guess what I did? I started bawling, crying because he was right. And I really feel like your ego, sometimes you become really defensive when people give you constructive criticism. That's your ego, and that's armor to prevent you from growing. But he was right. And then he taught me how to do better. I was like, Coach, I want this. This is all I have. You don't grow in your comfort zone. A lot of people that come from the gutters like myself, they grow faster than everybody else because they're in survival mode, not comfort zone. I want you to hear this. You want to be successful in life? How many of you guys have a goal or a dream and expectation? It could be a college, could be a career, could be a material object. What do you want in life? What's your name? Yeah. Cooper, stand up. Cooper, scream to everybody what your dream is or whatever it is. Cooper wants to be an NBA player. Round of applause for Cooper. Anybody else? Someone else? That was it? Right here. What's your name? Trinity, stand up, Trinity. Give it up for Trinity. Trinity, tell them, what's your goal? What's your dream? She wants to go on Broadway, yeah! Hey, Trinity, yesterday was Tuesday, right? What'd you do on Tuesday to get to Broadway? Yesterday, you listened to musicals. You did? How long? Good for you. How long? 2 hours? Awesome. Cooper? What'd you do to go to the NBA yesterday? You worked out. I worked out. I worked out. You worked out? You went to basketball practice? Cool. 1,000 shots? You guys know the difference between Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and a homeless man when it comes to time? Nothing. We all have 24 hours in a day, and how you use it defines you. Your success, your dreams, your goals, your legacy. And I think that a lot of people are kind of zoned out and floating through life, and you just kind of sit in class and zone out and fantasize about yourself, and then you just kind of float, and you get on TikTok, and like 4 hours go by, and you don't know what happened. You're like in a time machine. Facts. Wake up. If you don't control your time, it's not going to respect you back. And this is what the coach taught me. He said the average person takes 21 days to create a new habit. Rewire your brain. It becomes like blinking. Do you think when you blink, or do you just blink? You just blink. It'd be weird if your eyes were open all the time and you had to consciously blink, wouldn't it? It would be. What about you? You think when you breathe, or do you just breathe? You just breathe. Yeah, same thing. You can rewire your mind to make things automatic 21 days at a time. How many days to make a habit? How many days? I asked my coach, how? Everybody in the world wants, you want something out of Prince. How? That's the 1% club. How? I'm not strong. Guess what, Nate? Coaches didn't really know how to work me out in the weight room, so this wasn't very strong. I had such severe asthma, I ended up in an ambulance, and my life sucked so bad, all I ever had was basketball, because when I got on the court, people started to appreciate my, how do I get that for life? Guess what, Nate? First thing me do, I got a duffel bag suitcase. I put bricks in it in my backyard, and when I went home from school, I got the bag of bricks and lifted it with my arm 100 times. As I got stronger, added more bricks. 21 days later, I don't realize I'm doing it. I walk and I do it subconsciously, automatically. Days later, on top of that, I did push-ups, one-arm push-ups. When commercial breaks came on TV, I couldn't afford any of that stuff anyway. So I do one-arm push-ups beginning to end of commercial breaks to get this muscle stronger. Pretty strong, huh, Nate? For a quarterback, anyway. Guess what? 21 days later, I'm at my buddy's house watching TV. Commercials come on. I get on his floor. His parents are in the room. I start doing push-ups. They're like, what the heck are you doing? I'm like, sorry.